left, their newfound love, and I mean love, for the surveillance state. Now, since the release of the House Intel Committee's impeachment report, we've learned that Chairman Adam Schiff used his position to dig up and publicize dirt on political rivals and journalists. The Wall Street Journal editorial board noting, this is unprecedented and looks like an abuse of government surveillance authority for partisan gain. Joining me now is Fred Fleitz, former CIA analyst and former deputy assistant to President Trump. Fred, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Well, Laura, I got bad news for you. I understand Adam Schiff knows all about your late-night crank calls to Sean Hannity.
Oh, okay.
And I'm really not joking too much about this because we know how controversial these phone records are, how much trouble NSA got in for using them. There's real restrictions on them, and Adam Schiff used them to get information of Nunes and to smear him, to get information on Giuliani, the president's attorney, which raises attorney-client privilege issues, and to get information on John Solomon, a journalist the Democrats hate. And there actually is information. They have data on Hannity, and they could have information on you.
Well, my sources tonight told me that what Schiff did in his committee is they went to, I think it was one of the cell phone companies.
AT&T.
Yes, AT&T. They had some numbers. Mm-hmm. They didn't know whose numbers they were, but they asked them, tell us what these numbers have been engaged in and what calls these numbers have been making and placing. That's how they found the information. They took that information. That went to the NSA. The NSA, a.k.a. Deep State, then gave them the information that it was Rudy and others. Does that sound plausible to you? These are from extremely reliable sources.
My understanding is Schiff did know who the numbers were of that he sent to AT&T. What I want to know is why did AT&T comply with this request?
They're not under an obligation, right? No subpoena.
When the NSA asks, AT&T always says no. Well, why? Because a powerful Democratic congressman asked for this information. AT&T has a lot to answer for here.
So AT&T answered Schiff's call for information.
In addition, AT&T certainly knew one of those numbers was Nunes's phone and knew they were providing this information to Congress. Frankly, they should have went to the Justice Department or the FBI or a court before they provided that information.
Well, NSA, again, it goes back to the deep. I don't like this surveillance. They used to not like this surveillance. I know, but the information
came from AT&T. AT&T was involved in this. They knew they were providing information on a member of Congress. This really should be investigated.
This is important. By the way, speaking of the OMB, the Wall Street Journal is reporting late tonight that the freakout about Rudy talking to an OMB number might actually be wrong. That number, along with other references in the report to a number associated with the Office of Management and Budget, all correspond to a placeholder number that shows up when officials in several White House departments make calls, according to people familiar with the matter. Fred, if Schiff got that wrong, is it possible he got other numbers wrong as well?
I think he did, but the whole idea that he is looking into who the president's attorney was speaking to raises huge issues on attorney-client privilege. I mean, what was the right that Schiff had to do this? Because in a criminal proceeding, an attorney would have to have special permission from a court to do that. And it looks like Schiff thinks he operates under other rules. So the privacy rights don't apply to him.
When they say that Trump acts like a king, like he's accountable to no one, like many of the things they charge him of, they are guilty of themselves. The finger's always pointed back at you.
This is abuse of authority. It's abuse of office.
Abuse of power. That's what they accuse Trump of.
That's right, and they think the rules don't apply to them.
Fred, we're going to be on this story, but